All right, number 1 on the Unit 4 review is asking when this function is increasing. So in other words, when is there a positive slope? So when is there a positive slope? Well, of course, to find the slope at a particular interval, you have to find the derivative. So let's go ahead and first rewrite this as powers so we can use the power rule. We've got f of x equals x minus 2. Okay, to the 1/2 plus 4 minus x to the 1/2. Alright, we're going to use power rule and chain rule if there's a derivative on the inside, because we have two inside functions. So the derivative is equal to 1/2 x minus 2. So that 1/2 minus 1, which is negative 1/2, times the derivative of the inside. The derivative of x minus 2 is just 1, plus 1/2 times 4 minus x. 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2, times the derivative of the inside. Derivative of 4 minus x is negative 1 because of that negative x there. Alright, so let's clean this up a little bit. That's going to be 1 over 2 square root x minus 2 because of the negative 1/2, plus, oh, excuse me, I'm going to change that to a minus because of the negative 1, minus 1 over 2 square root 4 minus x. Alright, and the question is, when will the derivative be positive? When will the slope be positive? Because that's when the function would be increasing. So when is this greater than 0 is the question. Alright, well, let's figure that out. And we're looking for an interval, so we're looking for more than one answer. It's not just going to be increasing at one particular point, it'll be increasing from somewhere to somewhere. Alright, so let's solve this inequality. I'm going to move this over to the other side. So I've got 1 over 2 square root x minus 2 is greater than 1 over 2 square root 4 minus x. So when will that be greater than that? Let's see. Let's multiply both sides by 2 to clear the denominator. Gosh, this pen. I'll give up. Alright, so that cancels out, and I'm left with 1 over . Which would be, we can do the reciprocal of that. So 1 over the square root of x minus 2 is greater than 1 over the square root of 4 minus x if this numerator, or this denominator, is actually less than this denominator, right? If the denominator is smaller, you're going to get a bigger value. Because 1/2 is bigger than 1/4. Okay? So we want the square root of x minus 2 to be less than the square root of 4 minus x. Alright, now we can square both sides. Alright. Add x to both sides. Add 2 to both sides. And divide both sides by 2. And we get x is less than 3. Alright, so it's increasing as long as x is less than 3. Now, we do need to check to see if the function is defined for all the values less than 3, because we've got a square root, so we know that there are some issues with taking the square roots of negative values. So if you plug in 3 for x into the original function, that's okay. If I plug in 2 for x, that's okay. But what happens if I plug in something less than 2? I get a negative under this square root, so the function doesn't go past 2 because you can't take the square root of a negative. So we are